Oh, there you are, YouTube. So I'm going to discuss two films that I saw recently. One I've seen once, and one I've seen many times because my kids like it, and I believe we just watched it for the first time yesterday, and we've probably already seen it 3 times. But the first one is Raya and the... Whoops. Okay, that work? Okay, sorry. The first one is Raya and the Last Dragon. And this movie I thought was fantastic. The production design is really what got me. And the creature design, at first when I was looking at the dragons, I was like, I don't know how much I dig this look because they don't look fierce or menacing, but it won me over very quickly. It was just kind of like that first instant because I, for some reason, had completely missed what they look like. And the main dragon, voiced by Aquafina, yeah, at first, like when they showed up, I was like, it's kind of a weird look for a dragon. I don't know, it just looked a little too like My Little Pony or something. And then I got used to it very quickly. So it didn't end up being a problem or anything like that that I had throughout the entire film. It was just kind of jarring, I guess, is really just what it was. And do have to bear with me because I saw this 2 days ago. I can't remember anybody's names, but there was like this animal that Raya rode throughout. He's like a roly-poly type thing. I think they're called pill bugs. Some places they're called potato bugs in other places, but one of those type of bugs mixed with an animal, armadillo, hedgehog, I don't know, it's all those things sort of combined into one. That design was very cool, and that was a kind of a fun character because not only was it like a sidekick, but it was also like a vehicle, which was kind of cool. So it was like, imagine the Batmobile being Batman's like friend, sidekick sort of thing. So it's kind of like that, kind of like Kit with Knight Rider, I guess, is what that would be similar to. I think like I guess the dragon design did like, shock me a bit for a moment, but at the beginning when we see Raya as a young girl sort of training, in like martial arts and things like that, in diplomacy as well. I feel like the camera movements felt weird and a little like artificial. Like they didn't feel like they were trying to go for this handheld look in certain parts of this opening sequence. And it just looked very mechanical and produced and not actually handheld. It looked like they were trying to achieve the look of handheld. So it was like an uncanny valley situation where they were trying to accomplish handheld camera work. But I really only noticed that in the beginning section, as I said, when Raya was young, but beyond that, the rest of the movie, it was never a problem. So I don't know why that section stood out to me, like, where, I don't know, it just didn't work. It was like, oh, what's going on there? That looked weird. I don't think it was a situation where I got used to it. I think it was just that part wasn't quite, I don't know, finished or something. It just didn't look correct to me. I could be wrong. Obviously, again, I don't make movies. I could never do it. I couldn't even come close. But something stood out to me as looking a little artificial in that segment. But the whole movie, it's very, I don't know, predictable, I guess. You know what's going to happen as soon as, the exposition at the beginning sort of takes place. You're like, okay, I know exactly what's going to happen. But a lot of kids' movies are that way. But I don't know. I thought it was very nice, and I can't wait for my kids to want to watch it. I do think maybe it skews a little older than some Disney films. Not necessarily because it's like too violent or anything like that, but just, I don't know. The settings, I believe, just feel a little bit, I have like 2-year-olds, so I just feel like they will think it's a real movie, I guess, and not a movie for kids. I don't know, I could be completely wrong, I haven't tested it on them, but that brings me to the next movie that I'm going to talk about, The Good Dinosaur, which I believe came out like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that. That movie, we just turned it on because the kids are really into dinosaurs right now. I never wanted to watch this movie because I didn't like the design of the dinosaurs that I was seeing in like the promotional material. Because to me it kind of had that, I can't remember what the studio is called, but you know, like Wallace and Gromit, those claymation movies. I do not like that look at all. I do not like that style. I don't want to watch it. It's not the claymation that bothers me, it's the character design. And that's what these dinosaurs reminded me of in their visual quality, right? But it's interesting, that movie, The Good Dinosaur, and this is a Pixar movie, the Raya was Disney Animation, this is Pixar, Disney. But what's interesting about it is the landscapes in The Last Dinosaur are extremely real. Like, I know they're done digitally, but they look amazing. They are so beautiful. They are art. And it's an interesting contrast when you're actually watching the movie. Not just, I feel like the promotional material didn't do this movie justice, because you're looking at the contrast between sort of this goofy looking cartoon dinosaur, which does have very advanced textures on it. So don't get me wrong when I say I don't like the design. Like, it's more just the overall look, the facial structure, things like that of the dinosaur, the knees, the feet, stuff like that. But the textures are very well done on the dinosaur. It's very deceiving, I feel like. Deceptively simple. And I was completely wrong on this. But when you contrast the dinosaur's cartoonish look, very silly cartoonish look, to the backgrounds, you would think they shouldn't fit together, but they do, and it's just a beautiful contrast that somehow works. And this movie is, I haven't even told you what it was about. Basically, it's like a dinosaur family. Let's see, I guess I should start like, so let's say an asteroid never hit Earth and dinosaurs never became extinct. So they're still living through, you know, millions and millions of years, 65 million years, and they've evolved to, you know, so it's like present day, but with dinosaurs, basically. You know, they're intelligent, they build homes and things like that. We don't see any cities or anything, but, you know, they've created an agriculture sort of, I don't know, life, this family that we're following. So basically we're on a farm with a family of, they look like, you know, brontosauruses or whatever. And it's a father played by Jeffrey Wright. He does the voice, love him so much. Frances McDormand does the mother. And then there are 3 kids, I believe a boy, girl, and then young Arlo, who is the story's about. And basically he gets washed away from his home. And, you know, he's very small and feels like he doesn't have it in him to, you know, accomplish things. And, you know, his brother and sister are like surpassing him. And he gets washed away, accidentally falls into a river, a violent river, gets washed away very, very far away, and has to find his way home. As he's doing so, he befriends a little human that's very much like a raised by wolves sort of person. And they trek back to where Arlo is, and or from, yeah, back home. And so it's kind of like a homeward bound story in a way. And I don't know, I just thought it was very beautiful. Again, very simple, very much like the Raya story, but my kids love it. I love it. It's very emotional. I think this movie's underrated. I believe it. I read that it was Pixar's first like financial failure or something like that. But man, I wish the promotional material would have been better. I'm sad that people slept on this movie. I'm sad I slept on this movie, because it is so good, so underrated. And it is like, I mean, Pixar makes so many great movies, so they are very difficult to rank, but I absolutely loved it. I love the voice work. And the landscapes. Sam Elliott does a voice of a T-Rex. And the way the T-Rexes move, they like have evolved to become these ranchers, like these buffalo ranchers. And the way they move is amazing. Like the lower half of their body sort of like, they don't run like the T-Rexes that we see in movies like Jurassic Park and things like that. They're like galloping like a horse gallops, which is interesting because, you know, when we think of cowboy ranchers, or we think of them on horses, and that's sort of what's happening. They're driving cattle, driving bison, buffalo, and they look like horses a little bit. You know, like a cowboy riding a horse, but all in this one T-Rex body. It's very difficult to explain, but I just feel like everybody needs to give this movie a chance if you haven't, because I feel like a lot of people skipped over it like I did. I did so because I didn't like the character designs of the brontosauruses, or whatever they are, apatosauruses, I don't know. But I shouldn't have let that get in the way, because it was a fantastic movie. My kids loved it. Like I said, I think we've watched it like 3 or 4 times, and we've only been watching it for like 2 days. So, I don't know. It's good. Make sure you check that one out if you haven't. It's on Disney+, as is Raya, but for an extra fee. I can't remember how much it was. But, you know, check that one out when you can also, because it's very good. Yeah, I mean, Disney's pretty reliable, right? Disney and Pixar, I think for the most part they are. And both of those movies I love very much. Thank you so much for watching. This was kind of a long one. Maybe not too long, but anyway, perhaps I'll see you tomorrow, which is, I'm not done yet, which is Oscar nomination day. But otherwise, perhaps I'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout.